This is also more than a health crisis. This is a growing threat to regional and global security.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
In Liberia, in Guinea, in Sierra Leone, public health systems have collapsed. Economic growth is slowing dramatically. If this epidemic is not stopped, this disease could cause a humanitarian catastrophe across the region. And in an era where regional crises can quickly become global threats, stopping Ebola is in the interest of all of us.
From 1945 and the end of the war through 1989 and the end of the Cold War, we had a worldview. Republican and Democratic presidents alike, from Harry Truman to George Bush, stood for freedom and stood for certain propositions that would make America strong and healthy and grow the middle class and shrink poverty and stand against communism. And after 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
One health worker in Sierra Leone compared fighting this outbreak to fighting a forest fire with spray bottles. But with our help, they can put out the blaze. Last week, I visited the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, which is mounting the largest international response in its history.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
I said that the world could count on America to lead, and that we will provide the capabilities that only we have and mobilize the world the way we have done in the past in crises of similar magnitude. And I announced that in addition to the civilian response, the United States would establish a military command in Liberia to support civilian efforts across the region. Today, that command is up and it is running. Our commander is on the ground in Monrovia, and our teams are working as fast as they can to move in personnel, equipment, and supplies. We're working with Senegal to stand up an air bridge to get health workers and medical supplies into West Africa faster. We're setting up a field hospital, which will be staffed by personnel from the U.S. Public Health Service, and a training facility where we're getting ready to train thousands of health workers from around the world.
A new world order.
There's still a significant gap between where we are and where we need to be. We know from experience that the response to an outbreak of this magnitude has to be fast and it has to be sustained. It's a marathon, but you have to run it like a sprint. And that's only possible if everybody chips in, if every nation and every organization takes this seriously.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
Everybody here has to do more.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order.
A new world order.
For all the immediate challenges that we gather to address this week, terrorism, instability, inequality, disease, there's one issue that will define the contours of this century more dramatically than any other, and that is the urgent and growing threat of a changing climate. So the climate is changing faster than our efforts to address it. The alarm bells keep ringing. Our citizens keep marching. We cannot pretend we do not hear them. We have to answer the call. And today I call on all countries to join us. Not next year or the year after that, but right now. Because no nation can meet this global threat alone. We will do our part, and we will help developing nations do theirs. But we can only succeed in combating climate change if we are joined in this effort by every nation. developed and developing alike. Nobody gets a pass.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
Pope Benedict XVI is calling for a new world financial order. In the third encyclical of his pontificate, Benedict denounced the profit-at-all-cost mentality of the globalized economy, and he lamented that greed brought about the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. The document, entitled Charity and Truth, was released just hours before the G8 summit gets underway in Italy.
We have seen the consequences of a globalization where the market has to find by itself the regulations and the rules, and we have seen the disaster that has been over the last year.
The Pontiff stressed that he is not opposed to a globalized economy, saying that if done correctly, it has unprecedented potential to redistribute wealth around the world. But he did warn if globalization continues on the current path, modern societies risk increased poverty, inequality, and further environmental damages.
I think that for sure the Pope thinks that globalization without a soul and without a link with veritas, with truth, is at a high risk.
A new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.